Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company. Maria Sansone is keeping me company today. Maria, how about that book?
I love it.
Isn't it adorable?
Yes,
I know, and
so
she's fab.
pumped. Yeah.
She is fabulous.
I know.
New
We'll
York
have to
Times
get her back
bestseller.
here.
I know. When she comes back, we'll get you back, and
I would love that.
We'll do the whole thing again.
Yes.
Okay. So our next guest. I worked with years ago at Fox 25,
Mm-hmm.
Fox 25 then. Jay Bramble and I worked opposite shifts, but we would cross in the hallway, or somebody would work late or somebody would work early. And about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I got a call from a good friend that I worked with who said, Kim, have you seen the promos for a new show on Bravo? It is called Love Hotel, and one of the men on there is Jay Bramble. And I said, what? What?
Was that shocking, knowing him, how you...
I'm going to say this. I didn't know Jay well enough to know whether that would be shocking or not. I was just... Certainly, I was not surprised by the good looks and the charisma.
I like this show already.
Had.
This episode is good. I like the direction we're going.
Right up.
Jay is with us right now. I think what was just surprising about it, Jay, was just... I know you, and you were a contestant on a show like this. And I'm calling you a contestant. That's not exactly
I was a
right.
suitor.
A suitor. I love that.
Well, you should be surprised because that was definitely out of my comfort zone. Didn't see that coming at all. And it's so funny. Yeah, like you said, we used to work together, but you worked that crazy early morning shift. So that's why we didn't see each other. I wasn't waking up at 2 a.m. to come to work. But it's a exciting journey. It was nothing that I didn't have on. I didn't have it on my checkbox list in
Wasn't the
2025
bucket list.
to be on a Bravo reality dating show. But here I am.
You're a dad. You've got a nice job.
Yeah.
You're here in Boston. How does the reality show come knocking on your door?
That's a great question. See, yes, I have all that, but one thing that's missing that you didn't mention was a partner. See, so I got a DM from a casting agent. I was in New York for business one day, and I got a DM, and I got saying something like, "Hey, we saw your dating profile." I'm on the dating apps, just like the majority of us out there. It's all hell. It's a jungle, but we have to do it. We have to sludge through. That's how you meet people these days. And I got a DM saying, "Hey, we saw your profile. We think you would be really great for this show that we're producing. It's a reality TV show. I would love to talk to you about it."
Were you like, scam?
Yes,
I'm not giving you my credit card.
I'm like,
Exactly.
okay, here we go. I was like, I got time today. Let's see what they got to say. But after a few conversations, it turned out, I was like, wow, wait a minute, this is actually legit. And from there, I had further conversations with casting agents, with producers. I had to do virtual dates. So I'd get on a Zoom. I had to get dressed up. I had to pretend I was on a date with producers.
Whoa.
They would record us. From there, it just continued to evolve. And before you knew it, I was on a plane heading to Mexico to the Love Hotel.
Wow.
So that's how it goes down.
Yeah, it was a long process.
Yeah, I'll
Listen to
bet
your
so.
DMs.
They had to vet a lot of men. Because, obviously, they're trying to find men of caliber for the housewives. They expect a certain level of suitor. And so those casting agents, they did a great job because the guys that they picked all around are just great.
Well, I do have to say, now I've been watching it. So as we record this podcast, 4 episodes have dropped. And I want to tell you, it's 4 housewives, for those of you who have not seen it.
Ones we know and love.
Right, exactly.
Or we know.
An Orange County a housewife, a former New York housewife who is one of the originals, and then we have 2 from the Potomac series. And the interesting thing about this, first off, is that it's pretty rare that you have the 4 women who are choosing from men, but they kept, there's only 8 of you.
To start.
Right. So you've got 4 women and 8 men. So immediately out of the gate, the women choose a date. And I am on the edge of my seat going, oh, we got to have Jay. He's got to get a date. Because how do you feel if you don't get a date right off the bat?
Right.
And you did.
I did.
You did.
I did.
And then they started knocking men off. And you stayed.
I stayed. I made it. That was really great. That first, again, there's waves of men coming.
Yes.
And there's more men coming. But we were lucky to be in that first 8. And we got an opportunity more of an opportunity than the other fellas on the show to really form connections with the ladies.
Right off the bat,
right? Like, we called ourselves the First Eight. We called ourselves the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And we actually formed a bond. It was really cool. And it didn't turn into more of, didn't feel like a competition, because I think all of the men there, we were all kind of rooting and supporting each other, because we're all in this, like, none of us know anything about reality TV. We didn't know who these women were. This is not what we do. So we were kind of all in this shared experience together. And instead of competing against each other, we were actually bonding and supporting each other. And it's like, hey, if you find a connection, you find a connection. We're all here to date.
So what's the deal with this one? Like Bachelor, at the end, you're expected to propose. What are the stakes? The stakes,
yeah, that's a great question. So the stakes are, it's the Love Hotel, and you get a key to stay at the Love Hotel. And the women decide if they want to give you a key to stay. And at the end of the show, only one key for one suitor for each of the ladies. Right. So, you have a group of men, and you have to dwindle that down to your four people. And like you said, there is some drama and complexity to it, because what if two of the ladies like the same guy, or three of them, or for those who are watching now, all four of them like one certain man. So how do you navigate that?
And also, you didn't know these women going into it, so maybe there's not a connection for the guys as well. Like, it has to be a mutual love connection.
Exactly. And I think that's a great point, because, again, we didn't know who these women are, so there's no preconceived stereotypes or just like, oh, I'm going to go meet Giselle Bryant or Shannon Bedore. You're just meeting people. And you're hoping that there's a connection, some shared connection that you have. And if you don't, you don't. If you do, you do.
You weren't like a Housewives follower.
No. Not. Listen, if you had asked me to watch a reality show, or if I knew anything about reality shows or a dating show, I would have told you to just leave me alone.
Which is probably why casting loved you.
100%, right. Yeah, no, you're just a very genuine person. So let me ask you this. Can someone, in your estimation, go on a reality television show and find a mate for life?
I think you can. And I will tell you this, and I don't think this is spoiling anything, but there were some relationships that were continued after the show was over.
Yeah.
So, again,
not the least of which is just your friendship that you have with
we have
some of these people, right?
Absolutely. But there were romantic connections that stemmed from the show.
Yep.
And I think, again, you have to think about it too. Not only for the men, this is a first time experience, but the women, they're reality TV stars, not dating show stars.
Yes.
So they're coming into this very vulnerable and open too.
Yes.
This is new to them.
Right.
It is new territory. You're right. Yeah. They're used to being a certain way within their group, within like the context of, being a housewife and sort of, I'm sure there's some fanfare that goes into that and a little bit of like entertainment. Yeah. Well, now and each one of these more themselves.
Yeah. Right. And each one of these women has had a history of maybe not such great luck.
Right. Yeah.
So they were very vulnerable, it seemed.
And it's awkward. You're going on dates and, with cameras everywhere. Right. And again, you're really trying to, just imagine going on a date with someone you've never met, and you're trying to see if there's a connection, and there's a room of cameras and producers all watching you every moment. Right. So like, it was interesting, but it was also a really, really cool experience. Really cool.
Beautiful, beautiful resort.
Amazing resort. And we had the whole resort to ourselves.
Yes, it was empty, right?
The whole resort to ourselves.
Wow.
So
you went on your first date, and you guys were served a $25,000 taco.
Listen.
Excuse me.
Listen.
What does that mean? Is it made of solid gold?
Oh, it was insane. There was gold in there. There was Wagyu beef. There was everything in there.
Caviar.
Yeah, caviar. But what I could tell you is I could probably save Bravo $24,990, and we could have went to Taco Bell up the street and had the same experience. But it was cool. But that's like one of those things I can go back and say, like a little fun fact when I'm in a meeting. Hey,
absolutely.
I've had a $25,000 taco. Funny story about that taco. So when they served it to us, they were putting in the ingredients as they go, kind of describing what they were. And the taco was in a serving dish that had little pebbles, like little stones in there, decorative stones.
Oh, no.
And while he was serving the taco, somehow one of those stones must have got to my taco. So when I took a bite of it, I almost broke my tooth, but I thought it was like, all right, maybe this is a piece of gold or something in here. Like this is what rich people do. Like I didn't know. So
$25,000.
I kept showing it a little bit. I'm like, no, this isn't right.
Not right.
And I spit it out, and it was all the dish. Bravo didn't use that part. They didn't use that. They edited that out. But me and Giselle were laughing.
The most expensive thing you ever ate, and it almost broke my tooth. To the dentist.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, that's unbelievable.
I hope they should put together some bloopers from this show, like a blooper reel. There was so many funny moments.
You've just taken the words out of my mouth. So I've never been on a reality show. So is the show molded by the editing? I mean, you and I, we all three of us understand editing, right? So is the show somewhat molded by editing? Does it save some people? Does it, what did you think?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the editing, I don't think the editing molds the story. I think the story is the story. Pretty much what we've seen so far is what has happened.
Yes.
I think a lot of times when you think of a reality show, you think it's not really a reality show. People are telling you what to say, what to do. That was not the case here. I would say 99% of the time, it's we're saying what we were saying. Like, no one's prompting us to do anything. The only time maybe we're prompted is like, all right, we want all the ladies are going to be in this room. We want the gentleman to walk in and then go talk to them.
Right.
Yes.
But there's never any forced situations like, oh, Jay and Giselle, you guys go over there and talk about this.
Right.
So it was very organic. But there's a lot, because you got to think about it. We're only 8 episodes in. There's only 8 episodes, and there's
3 weeks, right?
3 weeks, and there's 12 people on the show at a time between the women and the men. Right. So that's a lot of content. I mean, we probably each all had a camera for ourselves. We each had microphones. It's a major production. Yeah. So to take all that, I feel bad for the editors, to take 3 weeks of all that content and really dwindle it down to something that's something that consumable for the audience. It's a skill.
When did you shoot that?
Say it again?
When did you shoot that
We shot it last September 2024. Okay. So it's been a while.
Wow.
It's been a while.
And to sit and watch it now.
Yeah.
What is that like?
Yeah, that's a little... I always have to pour a little drink before each episode. I don't know what's coming. But it's funny. The first episode, the premiere, all the cast, we all got together and we went to... we were in Bel Air. And so the ladies, the gents, we all sat and had a big party and we watched the episode together.
Fantastic.
And it's so funny because, again, this was filmed 6-7 months ago, so you forget a lot of what actually happened.
And you probably don't know some of the other stuff, obviously.
Right,
like
we don't get to see, we don't get to see what the other folks said about, in confessional and what we were saying about each other. So it was fun. It was fun. And then... Yeah, it's fun to watch. And the funny thing is now my boys, I have a soon-to-be 14-year-old and a soon-to-be 12-year-old, and they want to watch. And I'm like, it's like...
Might have to pre-screen.
I got to pre-screen this.
Right.
So, I've watched a couple episodes with them and just, making sure it's appropriate. And then they're analyzing my game. They're like, Dad, you should have been this, or Dad, you should have been that. Dad, she called you boring. I'm like, son, just relax, right?
So is this cool? Like, does this give you, dad cred, or...
I think
unclear.
I'm unclear.
Unclear at this time.
Unclear.
Okay.
We'll see how it all ends.
See how it plays out.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun.
That's fantastic, Jay. Yeah. Would you ever go on another reality show?
I think I would have to know what type of reality show. Like, maybe. No, you know what? I never say never. Like, maybe. Yeah. It was a cool experience. And again, I think the best part of this experience for me was building the relationships with the crew, the production crew, the talent, the cast. Like, we have a group chat with all the fellas that I can tell you right now, every day. It's worse than probably a high school text chain. Like, every day someone is texting or chatting or whatever. And I've seen everyone in person, hung out with them in their town since we've finished recording. Because I travel a lot for work. And luckily, a lot of their locations that I travel to is where some of the fellas or the ladies live. So we'll go and hang out.
I would think that'd be way more competitive with the guys than it sounds like it was.
It was a really great group of guys.
That's
great. Really
that is.
Good,
I love that part of it. It's
I think when you watch, you can see too. Yeah. Like, there's just no assholes, if I could say that. Like, everyone's just really. down to
I
earth.
love that. Maybe there'll be a spinoff if someone finds true love.
Maybe.
Is there a spinoff perhaps?
There
with
may be
the
so.
happy couple, or
Right,
couples?
and what the
or
what,
is
what's
it
up?
you?
You have to tune in.
We
and see.
literally don't know if you found love. We don't know if he's single or not.
No, we do not. No,
Sunday
we do
nights,
not.
9 p.m. on Bravo.
There you
We'll
go.
find out.
Streaming on Peacock.
The Love Hotel. That's where you find out.
Yes.
Jay, this has been so fun.
No, thank you. This is awesome. Thank you for having me.
It's terrific. You have subsequently, after TV, you went on to, you've done some really great things, and I'm so happy for you.
Found your way back to TV.
Yeah, found your way back to TV. This time in front of the camera, right? Exactly.
Which is always awkward. But.
We're all TV people. I always say it's like the mafia. Like you never really
you
get
never
out.
leave. There's only
You
one
can
way
try.
out.
There's only one way
Only
out.
one way out.
Jay Bramble. So again, it's Sunday nights, folks. It's on Bravo, and if you haven't seen it, of course, it's there. It lives there, and you can go back and you can watch it.
Cheer for me.
Woo!
Go
And cheer for Jay. We got
Say all
4
nice
more
things to social media about
episodes.
me.
You know what? One of the things about Jay that's a little bit different than the others is that Jay has sort of focused in so far, anyway, in 4 episodes, on one woman. He has interest in one woman.
Which one?
Giselle. And she is fantastic.
Giselle's
she
fantastic.
is fantastic.
They're all fantastic. Honestly, like they are all amazing women.
Yeah.
I left there with such a great impression of just how fantastic they are.
I'm trying to like read his body language
I know.
Lord.
I know.
For
But
our listeners,
she's fantastic, and I think that was smart.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. So good to see you.
Thank you.
So glad you could be a part of the show. We'll continue to keep an eye on what happens to Jay at the Love Hotel. All right, everybody, stay with us. So this is Kerrigan and Company.